Test, test. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to another clip view video. Today we're going to be talking about what some people don't know much about. So I made a trip to Japan, and when I made that trip to Japan, learned a lot about my things that I never really thought I would think about. So when I came back, I saw stuff in a different light. Thought of things I'd never thought I would think about. And so what I'm wearing is called a iaito uniform, or a iaito gi. Had this one custom made in Japan, in Kyoto. It's got embroidered right there. Don't know if you guys can see that. This thing collects hair like crazy. But this uniform is used for practice of the katana, which obviously has different parts and stuff. And a lot of people buy these and just stick them on their wall for decoration. When like this one is my favorite one. So it's a black blade, polished up nicely. It's got bat themes on it, cotton wrapping. It's got a stingray inlay in there, and it's black with just a little gold accents. It's somewhat sharp. It's mostly used for practicing. I've always been into swords. My brothers know that. My mom does. My stepdad. Shoot, my dad knows that. It's just something I don't know, that I've always been drawn to. Maybe it's watching those action movies when I was a kid. And then you think you can fight, and then you get your butt whooped. Anyways, so I would like to put more time into training with this, because with the iaito, it's all about drawing the sword, the strikes, movements, footwork, and it's not about going fast. It's not about how fast you can, swing the sword. It's not about that. It's about practicing getting the right form, the right angles. This is not meant for, chopping. It's not a straight sword or a great sword or any of that. It's curved for slashing. And that's how samurai used them. Speaking about samurais, brings me to the whole point of this video. So, haven't told anybody, but I've been slowly working on a project where I've been focusing everything I can on. And it's all been up here in my head until literally a couple nights ago, and it turned out to be a 37-page. But what it was supposed to be was a motivational piece, motivational project. And I wanted to put it into a video form. I went as far as figuring out the sound effects I wanted to do with this, and like a stream running through, the wind blowing through pine trees, the crackling of a fire, and then just a motivational voice reading what I've written down. It's 5 chapters. There's 5 sections per chapter, so it's a 5 for 5. I'm not sure if I'm going to read a whole chapter per video, or if I'm just going to break it down to multiple 5 videos per chapter. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about that, but I do know that it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've been finding it really hard to be motivated about things lately. Hence why I haven't really done a lot of YouTube videos. But, you know, if you're gonna make a change, you gotta make the change today. So that's why I figured it's time for me to not just sit around and let this look pretty and collect dust, but actually get out there. And the katana was actually rarely ever pulled. It was literally, if you're gonna pull your katana back in the day when samurai actually carried that, they were drawing it because they were going to use it. And so, you know, that's how important that draw was for the samurai, because they could draw it out in a, you know, blink of an eye. Next thing I know, they already did their slash. They do their, you know, blood flick or the flick of the sword, and then they sheathe the sword back, and they do it so precise and so clean. And that just shows how dedicated and motivated they were towards their practice in their everyday life, really. That takes a lot of commitment and focus. The two things I find myself hard to do. But anyways, when I was over there, yeah, we'll use the phone. Got some notes on here I wanted to share. So, there was a samurai. He was one of the best well-known samurais out there. And his name was Miyamoto Musashi. He wrote 2 books. He wrote The Five Rings, and he wrote The Void. And then there was another book that inspired me called Bushido, and that is the art of the sword. And I wanted to put those 3 pieces into this final form and include it in every chapter and every section. And I think I nailed it pretty good. I mean, I was proofreading this before I even got back out here, and I was like, wow, you know, it's crazy when I sit down and I focus what I can actually achieve. If I can do this, I think a lot of people can. So it just shows that focus is key to getting everything done. I mean, I don't want to get up out of bed, but we got to do the things we don't want to do. That's how you win. I mean, your gold medalist doesn't just, oh, I will, you know, only practice when it's convenient or when people are watching. No, he's out there, or she's out there every day, putting in that work, putting in the grind, you know, they like to say these days. Putting in the sweat, the pain, shocking their muscles. If you don't know what shocking muscles is, that means that your body's saying, okay, we're counting reps. We're going to do this, all right, and I'm counting. Well, why are you counting? That's the whole thing. Because your body's already saying, all right, we're doing 6 reps and 6 sets of 6 reps. Yeah, you know, no. So what I do to shock my muscles is I just go and I grab like the heaviest weight I can do, right? And I'll just do, I don't know, arm curls, or I'll do out fronts, or, you know, up to the sides, or the back muscles. And I just go. I don't count. I go as slow as I can. I'm focusing on form over function, right? And I keep working, and eventually those muscles start screaming, okay, well, guess what? Now we're going to put it down. We're going to pick up a lighter weight. Sure, I might just go with a 5-pounder, right? And keep going. Well, now that 5 pounds doesn't feel like 5 pounds, because that's your muscle shock. Your muscle is literally shaking. Your hand shaking. That's the shock. And bodybuilders do this all the time. They shock their muscles because that pushes the body to build those muscles. well, it's just the same with us. If we get into our routine, if we put in the work, if we eat healthy, live a healthy lifestyle, and we do this every day, shoot, even it'd be better if you can put it on a time schedule even, you know. Like for me, I have an alarm set for 8 p.m. That is when it goes off, I am up. I don't care if I don't want to get up out of bed. I'll roll myself out of bed onto the floor and I'll get up. And then I will literally go to that bathroom. I will get showered. I'll come out here. I'll make my cup of tea or coffee. I'll fill up my water bottle. And then got the uniform, go to work. I try to get there a little after 9:30 at the latest. That way I can literally sit there, let go of anything that's happened outside of work, so I don't bring that into work. See, this is all stuff I have pushed into a plan so I have a healthy work environment. That way I am dedicated, focused to my job, you know, because lives are literally my responsibility on my job. Being a correctional officer, yeah, I have to. I'm in charge of everyone in that unit. I fall asleep behind a chair and one of them slips, hits his head or her head. That's on me. I don't want that on my shoulders. That's a lot of paperwork, that's a lot of explaining. That could be my job, it could be criminal charges. What if they got seriously injured? You know? It's a lot of stress. Brings a lot of anxiety. And this job's taught me about mental health, and I never really thought of mental health, you know? I just like, alright, man, I go to work, I don't know, it angers me because the boss is snapping down my throat. You know, oh, you didn't get this freight done, you didn't get that truck unloaded on time, you didn't, you know, to me, it's always another night. But I get it, you know, my job is to put the items on the shelf back then so customers can come in first thing in the morning and get their product and be out the door. They don't have time for coming to find one of us, and so we can go in the back and search for it. You know, I get that. That's why change of job I thought was important to me. Because it was literally just beating me down. I was coming home beat, tired, sore. I mean, it took me literally hours before I could fall asleep because my body was just that much in pain, or I was just that stressed out. So that's why I was like, yeah, I need to do this motivational video. I also need to explain why I haven't been making videos here lately. It's because I've been working on this. I got literally 37-page paper. If I print it out on paper, regular printer paper, yeah, there'd be 37 pages of this. And that is not the little kit I've put together too. It's like, alright, so the narrator needs to sound like this. This music needs to have be at this decibel. Sound effects at this decibel. The mic at this. That way they're not, you know, overstepping one another. I need to take out background noise, and you know, and I was just like, that's a lot of work. Every video I do doesn't have to be polished up and be pretty and awesome, and you know, should be just me being able to get what I need to say off my chest. And I feel like, you know, no better time than now. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't subscribed, I definitely would suggest subscribing, or at least hit the thumb notification and stay tuned, because what we're going to get into is going to be some stuff that I think is going to even inspire you. or make you even go, So, I will see you guys in a little bit. And thank you for watching Clip View.